All right, welcome back to Man Down Sports. As you can see from the thumbnail, Colorado Coach Prime and all the coaches he played against so far in these 4 weeks is the topic of discussion. Also, Keyshawn Johnson and what he had to say. So I want to get into what he said on Undisputed. I'm gonna play that clip for you, and there's a couple of more clips I wanted to play, man, because I kind of want to drive the point home on what's really going on and what really the issue is with the coaches that's in the NCAA and what they have as far as a problem with Coach Prime in Colorado. It's deep rooted, and it's not just about it's not just about Coach Prime putting a target on his own back, or his players putting a target on their own back because they're being arrogant or whatever the case may be. It might be a little bit of that, but I think it's more to it, and we're gonna kind of break that down with some of the things that people have been saying. It's breadcrumbs all over the place, and you can connect the dots. You listen to people talk, who's also talked to other people, and they're putting everything out there, man, because this thing kind of stinks, and a lot of people don't like it, right? So we're gonna get into that, but before we get started, head over to YouTube if you're watching this from Facebook, and hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you get every video when it comes out, and all the lives as well when we do the full panel podcast. Also, if you are watching this from YouTube and you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe and hit that thumbs up as well. Make sure you hit the thumbs up on your way in here or either on your way out, but make sure you hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you're not, because about 65% of y'all who watch the videos are not subscribed. Do that. Also, leave a comment in the comment section, because we love to hear from everybody and what their thoughts is and what they think. Get the conversation started and keep it going. So do that as well. But without further ado, let me go ahead and play exactly what Keyshawn Johnson said, as he alluded to maybe a little bit of collusion when it came to the coaches, this coaching against Coach Brown.
This is his first year at the Power 5 level. This is its first year. They're 3-1. We can't sit up here and act like it's all doomed, it's over with, they'll never win another game. That's not true. They played against an Oregon team that is better. There's a better football team.
Bo Nix played.
You mentioned
Bo Nix played well.
You were talking about the jealousy and the way picking these coaches and how Deion got there. This is interesting you said that. I didn't want to interrupt you. I wanted to let you finish. So I spoke to somebody in the coaching fraternity right after the game. And they know some people that coach at Oregon. And they was telling me, they said, man, I've never heard from another assistant coach of how much information was being given to that staff about, I'm being real with it, about game planning against Colorado, right, so they can beat them. Everybody was stacked. They was
stacking.
That's the reality of it. I ain't making this up. No. I ain't gonna disclose no names, but y'all know who I'm talking about if you watch it.
So, man, that's very interesting. So he said that he talked to someone that's in the coaching fraternity. So this must be a former coach or a current coach, but someone in the know that's in the coaching fraternity. You don't get in the coaching fraternity without coaching. So this is someone that's within the circle of coaching in college sports. And he said that he knows people that coach at Oregon, not the head coach, but probably some assistants but it was coaches at Oregon that he spoke with. And he said that the amount of information that they were given on Colorado, the amount of intel they was given, he said he's never seen it before from a coaching staff. He said he's never seen someone say that we got this much information on how to beat Colorado. And there's no secret to because in high school you share game film. Like somebody might say, hey, here's the tape we got on them, but mainly people send their own scouts to scout schools, right? That's the main thing. You're seeing your own scouts, a week before, probably 3 or 4 weeks before. We want to see their last couple of games because that's probably the most recent things they've been practicing and running, so we can go over that stuff, right? So that's normal, right? You send your own scouts over there, and you might possibly get some game film or some game tape from somebody else, right? But for him to say that the coach at Oregon, who spoke with the guy that he spoke with, which is within the coaching fraternity, when he said that he's never seen that much information given, then it must have been above and beyond what the norm is. So the norm is, hey, here's game film. This is what we've seen here. We done with them. You can have it. You got them up next, right? That's normal. They went above and beyond. So what is above and beyond for a coaching staff to share with another school that's about to play a school that they already played? What's above and beyond? We can only speculate, right? We don't know. But he said it was unreal how much information they was given. And then he said, I'm not going to say names, but you know who I'm talking about, and you can narrow it down. He played I forgot the team he played first, but he played Nebraska second, Coach Matt Rule, Colorado State third, which was Jay Norvell. I don't know why I'm forgetting TCU. He played TCU first. So you got TCU, you got Colorado State, and you got Nebraska. So out of those 3 coaches, that's you can narrow it down to those 3. Now, for it to be above and beyond, maybe it meant all 3 of those coaches provided information. Maybe all 3 of those coaches actually went above and beyond in how much they helped. Maybe they helped with the game plan. Who knows? But this was what we do know. Oregon is a better football team. They got the better players, the better talent. They're more ready for that that game than what Colorado was. So we know Oregon was already going to beat them. So why share so much information? It's because they really wanted to beat them really, really bad. And why did they want to beat them really bad? I let Joe Klatt from Joe Klatt's podcast, and he covers college football. He used to play football at Colorado. He did a couple of years pro. Joe Klatt's a good guy, but I'll play for you what he said. I'll let you tell him, let him tell us why these coaches really wanted to beat Colorado this bad.
Quickly, let me start with the point that there are a lot of people out there, whether they are opposing fans, maybe some in the media, but more specifically coaches around America that do not like what's going on at Colorado. They don't like it. They don't like it at all. You can feel it. You can sense it. That's the emotion that we saw in the pregame speech. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like the attention that they've gotten. In their mind, they're like, for what? For what? They don't like the eyeballs. They don't like the fact that so many people have watched that. They don't like the fact that 60 Minutes was in Boulder. They don't like the fact that the Pat McAfee show was in Boulder and First Take was in Boulder. And now this week, Undisputed is going to Boulder and Big Noon Kickoff is going back to Boulder for the 3rd time. They don't like it at all. They want it to end. And in his mind, he was ending it. They were going to go out there on Saturday and embarrass Colorado. That was the entire goal. The entire goal was to embarrass Colorado. It was to embarrass Deion Sanders. It was rehearsed. All of it. They don't like it. And there's a lot of coaches like that. And Deion's right. There is going to be a target on his back. And he's right. They don't like it because of Deion. They don't like that everybody in America wants to see what's going on at Colorado. But here's the thing that they don't realize. They won't end it just by beating him. You beat him into the ground by the 11-minute mark of the first quarter. It was 13-0. You were going for a fake punt. Colorado was not going to win that game, and everybody knew it after the first two series of the game. Everyone. And guess what? Still might be the top-rated game of the day. It's not going to stop. People want to see what's going on because Deion Sanders is a sporting icon in this country.
All right, so you heard what Joe Class said, and he pointed out a bunch of things. He basically saying is basically jealousy, and it's not so much for Colorado, the school, not so much the players. Is Coach Prime, is Deion Sanders. They're jealous of that. I'm gonna give you a couple of reasons why. I'm gonna give you every reason why I think it's going on. I want you to remember the words jealousy. I want you to remember the word spotlight, and I want you to remember the word fear, right? And I'm gonna break all that stuff down. Let's back it up all the way down to when he first showed up at Jackson State. No one really cared. He was at a little HBCU. It made noise around a certain demographic of people, but it wasn't huge noise. It wasn't national. Well, it was national because it was Coach Prime, and he was like, "Dog, he chose a HBCU." Now, mind you, remember, he had expressed interest in Florida State. And he thought he was going to coach it as alumni. A lot of people did as well. Florida State didn't choose him. He went the HBCU route, right? And right away, it was a big buzz. And then by year 2, he's bringing in the number 1 recruit out of high school, which is a two-way player, Travis Hunter, right? Receiver, cornerback. And that's when everyone just had a fit. That's when it got, was more national news. You got the Clay Travises of the world, the Doug Gottliebs of the world, those guys in media who really took an issue with a kid that was the number 1 recruit coming out of high school deciding to go to a HBCU when he could have went to any school in the country. And they didn't understand it. And they bashed it. And they talked as much trash as they could, and they said it was a wrong decision, and it said you can't make decisions like this based on familiarity and who you feel comfortable with, which obviously he's going to a coach who played his position at the highest level, who's probably arguably the best defender in the secondary that we've ever seen, right? Now you get to go play for this guy at the HBCU on top of him being come from the same background that you come from, and you're familiar with it. Obviously, he was going to relate more to Coach Prime than he relates to Nick Saban or someone like Dabo Swinney or something like that, right? And what they're saying is that was a wrong decision to make your school choice based on something like that. Who cares that he's the best corner? Who cares that he relates to you? You go where there's the better facilities, the better X, Y, and Z and all that stuff, the better chance for you to go pro. That was their argument. And it seems like a good argument on the surface, but beneath that, we all know that that's not the real reason why people were frustrated. And bit by bit, it started to seep out why people was really frustrated. Nick Saban even had to come out and say something. And he took a jab at Travis Hunter and Coach Prime and JSU by saying that they paid good money for him because the NIL was real fresh back then, where people was getting in NIL, those NIL deals. Travis Hunter supposedly had one at JSU. I can't confirm that, but if he did, it wasn't what Nick Saban was saying it was. They said he paid good money. I think he said something about $1 million or $2 million. And then Deion was asked about it in the press conference and said, "I'm not even getting paid $1 million for the coach at JSU. How I'm gonna coach a kid fresh out of high school that's making more than me?" He said, "I'm not even getting that." Right. So that was laughable, but that was the first hint of frustration that we seen from top coaches. Why would Nick Saban care what's going on at JSU? Because he's seen the future. He's seen that if Deion can just go to a HBCU, not even a Power 5 school, and pull the number 1 recruit, what's going to happen when he gets to a Power 5 school So Nick Saban seen that future even back then, 3 years ago. And he tried to nip it in the bud and throw a little salt in the game early, because it's a slippery slope. Once something like this starts working, then everyone is going to see, oh, this is the new blueprint, and this is a wave that we can ride. Who's the next Coach Prime that we can go out there and go get? Can I go and call Rod Woodson? Can I go call Jerry Rice? Can they bring this much attention to a program this fast? So keep that in mind. We go get to that. So Nick Saban voiced his frustration, and then of course Coach Prime coaches there 2 years, and guess what? Boom, he's on to Colorado. Brings all his kids with him. Both his sons, Travis Hunter, a couple of more people, and some recruits that was committed elsewhere that he bought through the transfer portal, right? And they seen, oh man, not only can he get the top recruits, he's killing the transfer portal as well. And guess what? NIL money, he's embracing it. This is something that Nick Saban didn't embrace at all. Nick Saban didn't embrace the transfer portal or NILs, because he's saying the way that he does things and the way he run his ship, he did it without stuff like that. He didn't want to embrace it. But here's Deion, his new coach, who's not only embracing it, he's helping you get the best of it. Shedeur Sanders driving a Maybach. Travis Hunter got money left and right. These guys already probably millionaires by now. Name, image, and likeness. And then kids can look over there and see what's going on in Colorado, and all of a sudden say, that's where I want to be at. I can relate to Coach Prime. I can relate to everybody he got on this roster and everybody on this coaching staff. I can relate to them. I'm headed over there. And they leave in the transfer portal. He brought about 50 kids in the transfer portal. That's a lot. Whole new team. Right? And then brought in some recruits as well. I think he got the number one corner this year that's a freshman in his squad. Right? So they see all of that, and they see a problem, because now they see the old way of us doing it is dying out. We are a dying breed. We are an endangered species as far as the coaching goes, because our way of coaching, our style of coaching is dying out, and Coach Prime is trending. And not only is he trending, he's trending at a Power 5 school, and not only is he trending at a Power 5 school, he's making that school a lot of money in the first 3 weeks, 4 weeks of him playing football in Colorado. A lot of money. Colorado probably ain't seen this much money ever. I mean, he bought in millions of dollars from selling shades, just by talking and wearing shades, and boom, he sold millions. Jersey sales, crazy. Tickets at the stadium sold out. Lil Wayne's there, First Take's there, Undisputed's there, 60 Minutes is there. That is a lot of attention for someone who's just been at a Power 5 school since last summer, or since the summer. That is a lot of attention. And that's where the jealousy comes in, right? So they're jealous because they've been building their program. For in the case of Nick Saban, he's been building his program at Alabama for years. And Deion Sanders has got the same, if not more, attention than Alabama has. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and say he's got more attention than Alabama has this season. And he's only been building that program for less than 6 months. He's getting more attention than Alabama. Colorado's getting more attention than any school in the NCAA right now. And so it's 25 teams that's ranked. Colorado's they're getting more attention than all 25 of those ranked teams. You can go all the way to number one. You can go to USC. They get more attention than USC. Even Oregon, who beat the brakes off of them, Colorado still getting more attention than them. And that's where the jealousy comes from. They're jealous of that because you get to come and do this immediately and get the attention that we think we deserve because we've been building this program way longer than you and it's established and we got better players, right? And it's true. A lot of those teams do have better players. But Coach Prime is outpacing them, right? So that's I mean, that's got to leave a tough feeling in your gut, right, as a coach. So the jealousy starts there. How does those microaggressions show when you're jealous in media? Where it starts with Coach Matt Rule making his comment before he played Coach Prime, before Nebraska played Colorado. He made his comment, right? And it's all about them saying things like, you know, they're Hollywood, they're showboating, you know, they're arrogant, X, Y, and Z, stuff like that, right? You know, they haven't done anything. You know, these are all the comments they're saying. Like, you know, basically what they're saying, if they've just been honest with them, why are they getting so much attention? Why are y'all putting the cameras on them? Why are they getting all this attention? And why aren't we getting this attention? Why are they getting it? They're the new guys. They haven't done anything. Why are they getting attention? Right? That's basically what they're saying. Matt Rule said his thing, and then he lost. And then he had to humble himself and say that's a good football team. And he had to kind of backtrack what he said after the loss. Right. Then they played Colorado State. Colorado coach made his comment, basically said it was Hollywood, basically bashed them for wearing shades and hats and, you know, bashing Coach Prime. Really, why is he wearing shades? You know, that's disrespectful, blah, 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 you know, trying to steal the attention away from them. But there was a couple of things they were doing with their jealousy. Either they're going to say that they don't deserve their attention, or they're gonna say that plus use the stage that's set for that ball game to kind of steal the thunder, steal the show. So that's what that started with Colorado State. Colorado brought all the attention, all the cameras, all the lights, set the stage for a lot of eyes. And while that stage is set, the opposing team head coach will say, "This is an opportunity for me to make a statement to bring more attention to my school." So while I'm going to criticize him for trying to get attention on his school, I'm going to use the stage that he set to really kind of deflect a way that I want the attention and make comments about him wanting attention, but it's really me that want it. I want it. That's why it irks me. Anything that you do, not if when it's not negative, right? Just you being confident, what people call arrogance and stuff like that. You always got to watch that, because the people who have an issue with it are the people who wish they could be that way, or the people who wish they can get the attention that you want, right? So anytime someone criticizes you for being arrogant, or criticize you for being confident, or criticize you for getting attention, it's because they want it and they can't get it. So they'll criticize you for doing it. And that's what Coach Jay Noel was doing. I can't get that type of attention on my squad. So I'm going to criticize him for wearing glasses, because I think that's what he's getting the attention for, because he's showboating and wearing shades and stuff like that. And I'm going to steal his thunder off the stage that he set. And then hopefully when we play on this game, I get to capitalize on it. I'm going to come out there and try to punish them. So he had a little bit of talent to go against Colorado, but he didn't pull off the win, right? Not only did he wanted to win, he wanted to go out there and try to punish them. That's why he had those kids out there hitting after the whistle, you know, drawing so many flags, because he sent the message. He wanted to go out there and punish them. Just like Joe Clark said, I want to punish them. And then he failed. So TCU failed, Nebraska failed, Jay Norvell at Colorado State failed, right? So they colluded. Hey, Oregon, you got the talent to do this. We know you go beat them, but just to make sure you beat them really good, we want to give you everything we know, right? And I think that's what they did. And I think the NCAA should investigate that. So the jealousy, the spotlight, they're trying to steal the spotlight as well every chance they get. And Oregon was no different. The stage was set by Colorado, not Oregon. The stage was set by Colorado, and Coach Landon decided, I'm going to invite the press into my pregame speech so they can see all this, and I'm going to say all this stuff about them, right? And then when I go out there and beat them, I'm going to talk again at halftime, and then and then I hope everybody's watching, because what we need to do is stop this trend now of Coach Prime coming out here getting all this attention, because it's a slippery slope. Because if he ever gets that program to where it needs to be, coaches like them would not exist anymore. And what I mean by coaches like them, I'm talking about players like Lannon and Jay Norville and Saban and Matt Rule. All these guys played football at the collegiate level. But between all those guys, it's probably 1 or 2 years of professional football between them. So these are guys who had hoop dreams, so to speak, but from a football perspective, they had those dreams to go pro, but they couldn't. They wasn't good enough to do it. And those that can't do, teach, or those that can't do, coach. Right? Coaches are full of former athletes that either played at the professional level that wasn't that good, or never made it to the professional level, but they got a knack for the game, right? The coaches are full of that. But just like in media and in podcasting, like you have someone who went to journalism school, who worked their butt off. Somebody like Stephen A. Smith or Nick Wright or Chris Broussard. These guys went and learned a trade of journalism. They wrote for papers for some years. Some of them started on high school papers, writing for a high school team. Then you might write for a college team. Then you might start writing for a NFL or NBA team. And then you might get on national TV on ESPN, and you might can cross over from journalist to analyst on ESPN. And then you might start making some millions finally when you're in your 40s. Right. So you just now start making some money above average when you in your 40s, like mid 40s or something like that. Right. Imagine how you feel when you put all that work in, and you have a podcast that's getting some clicks and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden these millionaire athletes like Dwayne Wade, Kevin Durant, Paul George, JJ Redick, Jeff Teague, Draymond Green, it's just so many basketball players and football players, the Kelsey brothers, that's just all of a sudden, let me jump in the media and do podcasts. And guess what they get to do? Since they're already famous from their football and their basketball, as soon as they start a podcast and start, I can get any guest I want because I'm in a fraternity of the athletes. I can get any guest I want, right? Come on down. Shannon Sharp goes beyond sports. He's had daggone Candy Burris on his podcast. He can get singers and all types of entertainers on his podcast just by his popularity as a player. And then the subscribers come overnight. Something that someone had to work for their whole life, and they might be able to get when they're in their mid 40s. A player can get while they're still playing at age 25, 26, 27, whatever. It don't even matter. They can get it overnight. And you always hear media guys that took the traditional route criticize the athletes when they do it. That's because of jealousy. That's because of fear. That's fear of, if they start crowding this space, they're going to push us out. It's not different for the coaches. The coaches like Nick Saban, Matt Rule, Jay Norvell, and Coach Lannon, they took the traditional route of, I tried to play, I wasn't good enough, I didn't go pro, I started coaching, and I started coaching at the lowest level. I might have begged my way onto a staff. I might have been in the film room for a couple of years. I might have been a trainer for a couple of years. Then I might have been a lineman coach or a linebacker coach or a positions coach for a little while. And then I might have been an assistant coach somewhere. And then I finally get a chance to be a head coach, and I'm building a program. And all of that work I did for 10, 15, 20 years to get to this spot, Coach Prime is able to just jump straight off the streets with his name and his cachet and his bravado and his charisma and his experience, and just jump onto a staff, get all types of established guys to come help him, and can get recruits that we will have to beg for, right? And then he get all the attention from the media at the same time, right? So that brings along the jealousy, but more than that, that brings that you're taking our spotlight, but more than that, that brings about a lot of fear, because if this trend continues, we will be out of a job, because who is the next Coach Prime to show up? I hear Ray Lewis is looking for a job now. They just hired Eddie George. If Eddie George start talking like Coach Prime and bringing attention to himself, he's going to get it. If he starts winning, he's definitely going to get it. Right? Who's the next Coach Prime to show up? And that's what they're trying to stop. But don't let me say it. I'll let it come from the horse's mouth. Here's a guy that called in on Tariq Nasheed's show on him talking about it, and hear what he got to say about it.
Can you name a white coach off the top of your head that you think makes it about himself, sells sunglasses?
Well, can you name a white coach who they doubt like they doubted Dia? They don't do white coaches like that. When a white coach comes in, by default, they're like, well, yep, he's the man for the job. Everything was about doubting Dion. And he was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to do what I do. I'm going to come in. I'm going to win. Well, y'all hate to see a competent black person who ain't bowing down, who's winning. Why do y'all hate that so much?
Because it makes us insecure that we can't do it the same way he can.
Thank you. Thank you. But that's a you problem. At least say, I'm glad you're being honest, but that's a you problem.
I know, but when we see a black man shining, it just like tears us down, because that's like all we have left is the coach.
I know that.
He was honest. He said it brings about insecurities and fear, like I said, because the last thing we got is coaches. Right. When you look at the NFL landscape, most of the positions that, most of the skill positions, the running backs, the receivers, the linebackers, it's people of color. It's black people. Right. For a long time, quarterback was an exclusively white or predominantly white position played. And it took a while for anybody that wasn't a white athlete to kind of change that landscape. But it's changing. You got more black quarterbacks now. There's still stereotypes about them, though, and a lot of them are running quarterbacks. And a lot of people think that being a running quarterback means that you're not a passing quarterback either, or it means you can't win that way. But the stereotypes are still there. But the point is, that's starting to look more equal. I guess it's not a foregone conclusion that if you're a black quarterback in college that you're gonna have to change your position when you get to the pros. They're giving black quarterbacks a chance. Now that that's happening, the only thing that's getting dominated in sports by the majority demographic is ownership and coaching. But if you take ownership out the equation, it's just coaching. And that, from the mouth of this individual that called Tariq Nasheed's show, they don't want to see that turn into a black dominated part of the sport, because they feel like that's all they got left. If black coaches started to use what they're good at to draw attention to them, then it's going to weed out white coaches that do it a different way. So basically all this uproar is really a lot of things. It's really, hey, we don't like the way you're doing it. We want you to do it the way we do it, because if you do it the way we do it, you can't beat us at that game. But if you do it the way you do it, we can't beat you at that game, right? What the real thing is, it's enough space for everyone to be their own individual self and do it the way they want to do it without criticism. It should be free of criticism. No one's complained about how any coach has done it thus far. No one's complained that, hey, we don't like the way you're doing it. No one's saying that. No one's saying that about Nick Saban. We actually praise Nick Saban. We like Nick Saban. But he is his own person. The way he approaches everything, the way Bill Belichick approaches coaching, we love it. It's different, but we love it. He don't talk to the media that much. He's a man of few words. And the funny thing about it is when people say that they get to know him personally, he's not like that. You know what I mean? But he got his own style, and we love that. But we don't want every coach to do it the way Bill Belichick is doing it. And what happens is when a coach come in and does it like Prime, that's not Prime forcing it. Prime is like that, period. So why would he have to change the way he is to coach? Why can't I be who I am and bring my personality to my football team? I should be able to do that, right? And that's what he's doing, and that's what people are complaining about. We don't want you to do it like that, Prime. We want you to do it like us, because it's unfair. It's unfair if you do it like that, because you're going to get the attention, you're going to get the media spotlight, and then once you start recruiting, we can't beat you at that game either. And then once you start embracing NIL, we can't beat you at that either. And then once you start pulling these kids at the transfer portal, you're going to take all the kids that I want. So that's what it's all about. Jealousy, spotlight, fear of the future, because they're a dying breed. That's the whole thing. That is the whole thing. All right. So sorry for the lengthy video, but I wanted to kind of slow cook that one and kind of break it down, make sure I hit all the points that I wanted to hit. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section, man. Am I right? Does this stem from a jealousy, a fear, and a need and a want to have the spotlight instead of Deion having the spotlight? Is that what that is? Or do you see something else? Or do they have a legit point? I mean, is it legit that you shouldn't wear your glasses and that should bring about hate from all these coaches? Do you think that they actually colluded with Oregon to give them a better outcome or a better beatdown on Colorado? Let me know all those things in the comment, and I'll catch y'all on the next episode. Peace.